I was born into a family with a father who was just a big civil rights, labor organizer, political person who believed our task in this world was to help change it and make it better. My mom, on the other hand, was a person who loved art. She loved modernism. She literally said to me as I was growing up and expressed all this interest in dancing, she just said, you know, if you're going to be an artist, you have to be strong, you have to separate yourself from the crowd, you have to find your own voice, you have to, so she had this whole other thing going. And the combination of those two poles, I think, was actually pretty spectacular for me as a person.
Now, the first thing I think about when I get in there is Martha Graham. I mean, you know, you've seen her movie A Dancer's World. She's sitting at this long, fantastic table. She's putting up all her beautiful hair. She's talking about the nature of art, what it means to be a performer.
We found this amazing teacher for me. She was completely interested in what she called the dance of dimension, which was some kind of movement between ballet and modern, wildly radical at that time. You know, you were really separate. And so my dance training, although it emphasized ballet, there were also these other improvisatory and other things that were happening for me. I came back to Milwaukee where we were living and the civil rights movement was in full force, and I began really wondering the major questions of the dance exchange, you know, who was dancing, what were we dancing about, where was it happening, why did it matter? And it's not that I had that language at that time. All I had was this disconsolate feeling that I wanted to be an artist and I wanted to be as good an artist as I could be, but I also wanted to live in the world, and so began this, really, the quest of my life, I suppose.
Be a dancer, a professional dancer, is to be young and fit and agile. Wait though, don't answer that question just yet, because Bob Purepoint reports now the story of some people who are not young, nor even middle-aged, but who have come into what might be called the third age of life.
This is very beautiful, but you can take a little bit more time before you connect. Sometime experiment. What if you took 5 or 10 seconds before you connected?
In the summertime, the troupe comes to the Jacob's Pillow Dance Festival in the Berkshire Mountains of Massachusetts. Here they give public performances, but spend much of their time sharing with other dancers the joys of performing in the third age. She created it to provide a way for her young professional dancers to teach and learn from older people.
One of the things the Dance Exchange does is challenge some myths.
When I think about the Dance Exchange, one of the images I always have for it is it's an amoeba. It's like constantly changing its shape to support the kinds of ways we were making art and the interests and the demands that we were placing on ourselves and the communities were placing on us. It was and remains an incredible laboratory. I no longer run it, but it is an amazing place. And part of why it was amazing is that in its DNA are a couple of really important ideas. First, of course, the idea of exchange. Secondly, I wanted to make a place that I called a humane environment, a humane institution, and I defined that as a place where everybody gets to grow, not just the person in charge. The first thing I did was to teach for a semester at Harvard, so it was really good that I had a full-on residency, I had somewhere to go, it wasn't the Dance Exchange, lots of interesting people to be around, and I loved that. And then I went back home to Baltimore and began a life as an independent artist. One of my ideas was, first of all, not to form a nonprofit. I formed an LLC. I really wanted to break my patterns. I didn't want to have to raise money. I wanted to earn it, which I did. And everything was fine until I decided to make a new piece. And then I realized, oops, I have to raise some money. And here's what was interesting. My partners were Arena Stage, a regional theater company that put us in their subscription season for a month, and La Jolla Playhouse. To put this work in regional theater felt to me one of the big breakthroughs, because I believe that the dance theater work that's moving around the country, not just mine, but there are many, many of us that have insisted on staying with narrative. We haven't dropped it. We are playing with tons of relationship between movement and narrative and storytelling, that this work belongs not just in dance theaters, but in theaters. Sometimes I think I'm actually a tool maker. I mean, I describe myself as a choreographer, and I'm of late saying it's choreography writ large, because everything's in motion. Everything is in motion because change is that, and that the more we share our choreographic tools, the more people might be able to manage this rate of change and the swirling nature of what's happening to us, our institutions, our belief systems.